The sign that nobody reads. Eagle's Nest, Florida. At the entrance to Eagle's Nest Cave in Florida, there's a sign. It shows the Grim Reaper. It says in plain language that continuing into this cave can kill you. It lists the number of dead divers. It tells you to turn around. 28 people read that sign and swam past it anyway. Most of them never came back. Psychologists call this normalcy bias, the assumption that because nothing bad has happened to you before, nothing bad will happen now. The sign is for other people, weaker people, less experienced divers, not you. The cave descends through narrow underwater shafts with names that should have been enough on their own. The coffin, the bone room. Untrained or overconfident divers enter, kick up silt from the floor, and within seconds the water goes from clear to zero visibility. They can't see the walls. They can't see their own hands. And the terrifying part? In complete darkness, with no reference point, panicking divers often swim deeper into the cave, thinking they're heading for the exit. The Christmas present. One of the worst stories from Eagle's Nest involves a stepfather who bought his stepson scuba gear for Christmas. Brand new equipment. No cave diving training, no certification, no experience in overhead environments. He decided the best place to test the new gear would be Eagle's Nest. They swam past the Grim Reaper sign. They entered the cave system. Neither of them understood the currents, the silt, or the disorientation that comes with zero visibility in a space where the exit isn't above you. It's somewhere behind you in the dark. They became two more names on the list of divers who never surfaced. This is the Dunning-Kruger effect in its most lethal form. When you don't know enough about a subject, you also don't know enough to understand how much danger you're in. Confidence doesn't come from competence. It comes from ignorance. An experienced cave diver knows exactly how many ways the cave can kill them. A beginner doesn't even know what the dangers are, so they feel none. The stepfather looked at Eagle's Nest and saw a swimming hole. An experienced diver looks at Eagle's Nest and sees a system designed to kill anyone who makes a single mistake. The man who couldn't stop going deeper. Ben McDaniel, 2010. Ben McDaniel was an avid diver living at his parents' beach house in Florida. He'd recently gone through a divorce. His business had failed. His younger brother had died 2 years earlier. He was rebuilding his life, and he chose cave diving as the thing that would prove he was still in control. He started diving at Vortex Spring, where an underwater cave system descends through narrow tunnels behind a locked gate. The gate exists specifically to stop uncertified divers from entering. Ben wasn't certified. He entered anyway, repeatedly. Staff at the spring knew he was doing it. On August 18, 2010, Ben entered the cave alone. His truck, his gear, and his tanks were found afterward. He never was. Massive search operations followed. Expert divers risked their own lives exploring passages so narrow they had to remove their tanks to fit through. Nothing was ever recovered. The psychology here isn't one bias. It's three stacked on top of each other. Identity-driven risk. After losing his marriage, business, and brother, the cave became his way of proving he was still capable. Sunk cost. He'd already gone past the gate so many times that turning back now felt like admitting every previous dive was reckless. An escalation of commitment. Each dive had to go deeper than the last. Or what was the point? His brain turned a locked gate with a chain on it into a challenge instead of a warning. The body at the bottom. Dave Shaw, 2005. In October 2004, Australian diver Dave Shaw descended into Bushman's Hole in South Africa, one of the deepest freshwater caves on Earth. At 270 meters, he touched the bottom. He'd just broken 4 world records in a single dive. He also found something he wasn't looking for. The body of Dion Dreyer, a young diver who died there a decade earlier, remarkably preserved in the cold water. Shaw could have left it alone. He didn't. He contacted Dreyer's parents, got their permission, and returned 3 months later with a full recovery team. 8 support divers. A cameraman. A plan rehearsed dozens of times. At 270 meters, Shaw began attaching the body bag. The body, which everyone assumed would stay heavy, had converted to a soap-like substance called adipocere. It started to float. Lines tangled. Shaw's light wires caught on the body bag. He struggled to free himself with both hands. The physical exertion at that depth overwhelmed his rebreather. He died on camera. His support team said there was a 99% chance of success and 0% chance Shaw wouldn't come back. That confidence wasn't arrogance. It was commitment escalation. Shaw had already told the parents, already assembled the team, already announced the dive. The emotional investment made turning back feel like failure. And at 270 meters, The difference between confidence and death is one unexpected variable: the silent killer. At depth, nitrogen narcosis. Below about 30 meters, nitrogen in a diver's air supply starts behaving like alcohol in the brain. It's called nitrogen narcosis, the rapture of the deep. And it's one of the most terrifying things that can happen to you underwater, because you have no idea it's happening. The effects are identical to being drunk: impaired judgment, euphoria, tunnel vision, difficulty processing information, slowed reaction time. But unlike alcohol, there's no stumbling, no slurred speech, no external sign. The diver feels clear-headed, capable, maybe even better than usual. That's the narcosis talking. Divers under narcosis have been documented doing things that are impossible to explain rationally. Taking their regulator out of their mouth at 50 meters because breathing felt unnecessary. Offering their air supply to passing fish. Swimming deeper because the depth felt good and going up seemed pointless. They made decisions that killed them while genuinely believing those decisions were correct. That's the real horror of narcosis. It doesn't impair your ability to act. It impairs your ability to know that you're impaired. Your brain is malfunctioning and simultaneously telling you it's never worked better. Why they always go back. The question nobody asks about cave diving isn't why people die. It's why people keep going back after they almost die. The answer is the same mechanism that keeps people gambling. It's called a variable ratio reinforcement schedule. Every cave dive contains an element of unpredictability. Will the visibility hold? Will the current shift? Will you find a new passage? When you survive a dangerous dive, the relief and exhilaration produce a massive dopamine response. And just like a gambler who won big, that dopamine doesn't make you cautious. It makes you hungry for the next one. Each successful dive reinforces the belief that you can handle it. Each near miss becomes a story of triumph rather than a warning. And each dive has to go slightly deeper, slightly further, slightly longer. Because the same depth doesn't produce the same hit anymore. That's why the most dangerous cave divers aren't beginners. They're experienced divers who've survived enough close calls to believe they're invincible. Their own track record becomes the thing that kills them. The brain takes survival and turns it into permission to push harder, go deeper, stay longer, until the one dive where the cave doesn't let them leave. For more videos, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Until next time.